Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we are setting up for the fifth cycle in the year for me, or May, in my everyday journal. This is not my usual content. Every month I do share this journal, but I generally share reading journal content if you're new here. However, each month I like to share my monthly setups or cyclic setups in my journal just because it gives a little bit of different content on the channel and I get to just chat with you guys while I'm setting up just a few pages that will hopefully keep me on track for the cycle ahead. And if you're new to cyclic planning, I do have a link to the creator that introduced it to me in the description as always. This has just been really helpful for me. I like that it's a 4-week overview. It always starts on a Monday, always ends on a Sunday. So that works really well for me and my current lifestyle. On to what I am working with for this month. I was very fortunate at the start of the year to receive a package from the washi tape shop. And they sent me quite a few different washi tape rolls in that package and I'm still working my way through them. For the month of May, or cycle 5, we're going to use another one from the World Heritage Bundle. This is Dream of Venice. Last month we went to Spain. This month we're going to be in Italy and I'm very excited to share this with you all. I also decided that I would play around with these Distress Oxide inks and get a bit of colour down on the page before I stuck anything down, just because I got them at a recent papercraft show and I was itching to find a place to put them. And I also was kind of nervous to use them straight away in my reading journal. I may use them in that. I'm quite attached to the idea of currently, but I haven't had time to sit down and work on it. But it was just kind of like a no pressure zone for this month to sort of work it into this setup. And it was really fun. I love the two colours together. They are Milled Lavender and Tattered Rose if you're interested. And they just sort of gave this really soft pastel to the page that I really enjoyed. So I'm going to use a lot of stamps this month. I've always been using washi tape printouts of fonts and stuff, and I felt like I wanted to use them stamps. It took me a lot longer, admittedly, because I was using stamps instead of just sticking things down, but I had a good time with it. As you can see with the washi tape shop, the rolls come with high quality kiss cut images, at least on this roll here. Some are full length and not kiss cut, but this one has little stickers that you can just peel off and put down. And as you can see, if you put it down wrong, you can lift it up. Generally without ripping anything, the quality is very, very good. And so I had a lot of fun with this setup. On the cover page, I normally always have this left-hand side for more decoration heavy types of filling it in. And then on the right-hand side, I do have a calendar, but I really enjoyed the process of layering loads of stickers down on this cover page. Last cycle, I did not as much stickers. I did the Spanish roll for last month, the Spania Wonders, and I left a lot of gaps, I think. So this time round, I decided that I would use as much as I can. I actually used almost an entire rotation of design on these first 2 pages here, which was really fun because it meant that I got to get through the roll a little bit further in this entire setup, and I really enjoyed myself just filling in all the gaps and putting down all the things. Something that's quite interesting about me, or at least I think it is that I did a degree on history in university. My Bachelor of Arts was all on history with a focus on ancient history, and of course I spent a great deal of time in ancient Rome. It was actually my preference, so I did a lot of my last year studies on really deep diving into ancient Rome, and I even wrote an essay that was all about the sanitation levels in ancient Rome, which is not exactly a great conversation starter, but it got me an A+ in the end, so I'm always thankful for that. And I always just think that even though I've never been overseas and I would always love to go there, that would be the first place I'd go. It would be some place in Italy, probably Florence, over Rome actually. But I always feel quite connected to anything that has a Roman vibe to it. I don't know why. I just feel like I've spent a lot of time with that, with all my studies there. So this was a really fun tape to set up and use. And I just love how pastel this one is with all the pinks and the greens. And so I really leaned into that with my colours. You'll get to see in a moment sort of what that ends up looking like when I start using the calendar that we're about to fill in. But as you can see, there is not a lot of white space left. I definitely went through all the sheets that I'd cut up and found as many that I could stick down without making it look like it was kind of messy. So now we're going to put the calendar in, and like I mentioned, this is a 4-week calendar, and it will go, I think, until the 22nd from memory of May, and then cycle 6 will come in after that. So this is the second quarter of me using this system, and I'm really enjoying it. It's been really good to just have a different way of planning, but I am changing things up a little bit in this cycle. I've noticed that I've been wasting a lot of paper recently in this journal, just not having enough time to fill it in, not keeping up with it. I have every intention of doing memory keeping and then not remembering to do it. So I have changed things up just a little bit for this month. I'm going to see how that goes, and then if I like the setup, I will continue it for cycle 6. It still gives me plenty of space to write down all the things I need to remember, and all the tasks that I have to do. You'll get to see when we move on to the next page. I did feel like this page was still kind of bare, even though there's so many stickers down, and I am in this really weird double-lined border kick. But this time around, I decided to do a thicker border and colour it in. And I think it comes together quite well in the end. It just takes a little bit to sort of set it up, especially since I'm going around all the stickers to do so. But I think it ends up looking really nice. And like I said, just brings the page together a little bit, ties in this darker colour with the right-hand side there with the calendar. And yeah, I really, really like how this sort of just finished this cover page off. And it's just such a bold colour in amongst all the pastels and everything like that. So yeah, I'm just really, really happy that I decided to do that. And I hope that you think this looks okay too. Yeah, this year's been really interesting for me because obviously I'm very consciously sharing this journal. I normally don't. And I am also trying something new with my reading journal and how I set that up as well. I'm normally a very fantasy heavy based journaler. And so far this year, I haven't really done anything that's too fantasy in theme. So it's really interesting to me to sort of just sit down and see what's going to come out of these setups, especially when they are done with decorations that I have been gifted. And yeah, it's really fun because I get to think outside the box a little bit and enjoy what I'm setting up and just have something very different from what I would normally go for. So this page here is almost done now. The other thing I got at the Paper Craft show was some Zig, is it the Zig dot markers? I think it's Zig, the official dot markers, and the clear color dots. And I got the mild smoky pack, I think it's called, and I'm obsessed with them. And I'm so glad that I got them because I was able to use them in this setup. And recently I got some gel pens from Anko brand from Kmart. There were 24 in the pack. They were $12, and I'm absolutely obsessed with them as well. And that is why I end up using them here. I thought that they would look really cute with a bit of butter yellow in the top bar there across the calendar, and I really like it. I also go around and edge the word May in the yellow as well. I do apologize if you can hear my my group chat going off. They were all very quiet, one of them even being asleep, and now they're going off. But that's okay. That's on me for forgetting to mute that, so I do apologize. But this is where things are changing up for this month. I am working with just 2 pages for my weekly dashboards. Normally I would have a 2-page spread for the front and then do like dailies, and I've decided to cut out the dailies this time around. I'm just not using them. I have to admit that I tend to not use dailies, and I know this about myself, but I've had goals to try and improve that, and like I said, do some memory keeping and stuff like that, but it doesn't always work out for me. I did try shortening down my pages and doing 1 page for the entire dailies and just having very small boxes, but then I didn't use them. So I've decided that I would try this out and just do kind of like the Alistair method, where I do a running to-do list, or I'm going to call it priorities, and then have a space to just sort of brain dump or just write down anything on the right-hand side. So on the left-hand side, we're going to have a weekly sort of calendar, I guess you could put it. Like, it's going to have the events. I can write down like important things that happened in this calendar. I intentionally made it larger so I could, it's what we're about to set up now, so I could have space to put down memory keeping if I need to. So if I have a really big important thing that comes up, or if there's something that I just need to remember, I can just jot it down into the box on the day that it happened. And then I also have spaces for events. We do have quite a lot of people that come into our house each week. Well, I wouldn't say quite a lot. There's just 2, but one comes 3 times a week. So I do jot that down, and sometimes that person can't come. So I do have to also acknowledge that in my journal, make sure that there's space for that. When you have animals, there's always appointments, especially with horses. So we always generally have a farrier appointment at least every month, because my horse, Honey, I wouldn't say it's because she's older, though she is older now, but she has feet that grow very fast. So she actually can't be on the same system as the other 2 horses. So she generally has an appointment every 5 weeks, which ends up being somewhere in every single cycle or every single month. So yeah, lots of appointments. I'm sure everyone else who has a busy lifestyle, or at least have some sort of lifestyle really, would have to need some sort of calendar space to write all these down. And the reason why I have a monthly space for it on the cover page, as well as I break it down per week, is I tend to use repetition to remember things with my chronic fatigue and brain fog. So that's why I tend to break it down multiple times over. But I am interested to see if this will work out for me, and if I do need to go back to having a bit more space. I hope that I don't need to. I am very conscious about this journal lasting most of the year. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I use stamps for everything. I got this stamp set here from 𝓤𝓼𝓭, and it is the numbers of the month and the days of the week. I think it's fantastic. And I used another one of those Distress Oxide inks for this. I think this one's called something Spruce. Sorry, I will have everything linked below on what I use, and hopefully that will help you out if you find anything that you would like to add to your collection of stationery as well. And once I have done this calendar space here, we're moving on into setting up the rest of the page here. There will be a section for goals, because I do find that really helpful to sort of have a focus for the week and have it intentionally written down. I try to have 4 goals. They don't necessarily have to be long or big goals, just something that I want to be working towards. I'm going to be starting a personal curriculum soon, and I have to try and figure out what I want to study for this first portion. I've got a few ideas, so I need to do some researching around that as well. So that's something I need to add in, and that will be something that I could put down as a goal, for example. And then I'm going to have a space for habits, which we're about to use some stamps to mark this down. I'm so glad that I can speed this up for you all. Like I mentioned, this took me a very long time to do because normally I just use stickers and then just slap it all down. But the good thing was that I just locked in with an audiobook. I tend to do that when I'm journaling, and I find it really therapeutic to listen to a book while I am journaling. Interestingly, though, I am doing classics at the moment for the month of April for a readathon. The focus is classics, and I don't tend to read them. The last time I read a classics novel was when I was in university. I took one semester of I think American Lit and hated it, and didn't pick up a classic book from that moment on. So I do not have a very big understanding of that type of genre, and I am participating in this readathon, and one of the other ones that I've sort of lined up with it had a focus on children's classics, and I didn't even think, why should I, I didn't even think to pick up one of them. So I'm actually listening to Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery at the moment, and while I was setting this up, and it was very interesting because at first I did not enjoy it at all. I was not a child who read this book. I was more Wind in the Willows and Edith Blythe. Is it Edith Blythe? I read a lot of books when I was a kid, but I just didn't end up with this one. And I know a lot of people who really enjoy this story. So at first I was like, I'm not getting it. Maybe I missed my opportunity. I might have enjoyed it more when I was younger. But then I got more into it, and Anna's just absolutely delightful, and I can see myself really enjoying this as the book continues. I'm only just under halfway now, and it's just a really delightful little story. And it's really interesting because this particular readathon that I'm participating in has helped me a lot with just trialing new genres and seeing new books and whether or not I will like them. So I wouldn't say that I would necessarily pick up classics all the time, but it's been a really nice reprieve. Obviously, I also reread Pride and Prejudice because that's one of the ones that I have read and enjoyed when I was younger. So yeah, it was really good to listen to that as well. And now we're just going to spend a whole bunch of time sticking down more decoration onto this weekly spread. Like I said, I'm going to have this right-hand side to just write down little thoughts along the way if I need to. And then this page will be almost done. I'm just going to fill in my habit tracker with all the habits that I use. I use the same ones almost every single time. This time around, I have had to add in physio exercises because I am currently doing physiotherapy for my knee injury, which is good, but I have to do those exercises every day, and I've just remembered I haven't done them today, so that's going to be awkward. It's almost midnight. And so, I might go do that after I've done this narration, but I hope that you enjoyed seeing this portion of my everyday journal and just changing things around. If you've been here from the beginning, this setup has changed every cycle. So it's interesting for me to see what is working and what isn't. And the good thing is I went ahead and did all 4 pages for this month as well. So I'm all good to go. Here they all are. And I hope that you like what I have come up with. And if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. And until we next meet, I hope you have fun reading or journaling, and I'll see you again soon. Bye everyone.